Hobby Quick Hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 178 of Hobby Quick Hits. Going to be talking about my recent trip to Baltimore, my first time ever in that city. No, I'm not turning into a Ravens fan, so don't worry about that, being a Steelers fan. But I actually got to hang out for 4 days with my good friend Danny Black, my Card Mensch's co-host and very, very good friend, and his family. So thanks to Danny and family for the hospitality. Had a fun 4 days. Got there on Thursday and left Sunday morning. So 3 and some change days, and did some stuff. I'll save it for the main topic of the episode. But had a blast. First time ever in Baltimore, and hopefully not last, and not planning to make it the last time. Maybe we'll see a future national in Baltimore. That would be really cool. So that is going to be the main crux of today's episode. Talk about some of the things we got to do and see and partake in. So with that being said, we're going to hear from our great sponsor and then start the show.
Okay, now a quick word from our great sponsor, followed by the new product release schedule. Then we'll go around the Hobbyverse to tell you all the latest hobby happenings and news. Then we'll tackle today's topic of discussion.
Hi, this is Pat Hughes, Cubs announcer, coming to you from the Sports Card Shop in beautiful New Buffalo, Michigan. The Gocher family has built an incredible place here for collectors to buy, sell, and trade cards and memorabilia. Be sure to stop by and let them show you around. TheSportsCardShop.com, connecting sports, athletes, the hobby, and collectors around the world.
Hi. This is Alan Pinkett, and I'm here to tell you the Gocher family has done it again. They've just opened up the Sport Card Shop in downtown Valparaiso, Indiana, and it is awesome. If you're a collector, you need to check this place out. Tell them Alan sent you and get a free gift on your first visit.
Go ahead.
Let's check out this week's Hobby Wax releases. Take it away, Max.
Hey guys, it's Max from the Sports Card Shop in New Buffalo and Valparaiso, and we are bringing you guys the weekly releases for these next upcoming weeks here. Starting off on the 8th, we have 2024 Bowman Baseball Blaster, 2024 Bowman Baseball Hobby and Jumbo, 2024 Bowman Baseball HTA Choice, 2023 Panini National Treasures Racing, 2023-24 Panini Crown Royale Basketball, and 2024 Upper Deck SP Game Use Golf. On the 10th, we have 2023-24 Panini Diamond Soccer, 2023-24 Panini Select Basketball, and on the 15th we have 2024 Topps Archive Signature Series Retired Player Ed Baseball, as well as 2023-24 Topps UEFA Club Competition Finest Soccer, and 2024 Topps UFC Midnight, as well as 2023-24 Upper Deck Trilogy Hockey. On the 17th we have Panini Clear 2023 Panini Donruss Clearly Football. And that is your weekly releases. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show. Be sure to check out the Sports Card Shop.
Let's go round the Hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
All right, lots of news during this segment. Much of it coming from the Topps conference that took place last week in Atlanta, Georgia. They had a lot of their direct dealers come there. Andrew Jones and Thurman Thomas were special guests. It seems a little light on star power. I know Andrew Jones was a Atlanta favorite for the Braves, but you know, here in Central New York, we're all very familiar with Thurman Thomas and his Bills career. Just thought they'd have a little more star power than that, but hey, they didn't have to have anybody there, right? So let's talk about some of the news coming out of that conference. And this is what we know. It's not necessarily everything. That event was a couple days. Redemption cards. They're going to try to make less of them, but you're going to still have to have them. They also announced that they've extended the redemption time to 10 years. Not that it will take 10 years for a redemption to come in, but if you have an expired card, you can add 10 years to that. So if it says expires in 2023, it's actually 2033. They've had 70,000 outstanding redemptions. They have announced that they're down to 10,000. So they've returned 60,000 redemptions. That's always a good thing. The other big news coming from that, they're going to start producing basketball cards even before their license officially gets kicked in with unlicensed brand. And they showed a Topps Chrome basketball Wemby auto. They're going to have autos in this product. Obviously, they cannot use team name or logo, so Wemby's will just say San Antonio, won't say Spurs, or have a Spurs logo, and same with all the rest of the cards that appear in these sets. Some of the sets that they announced will be called Midnight Cosmic, Chrome, Finest, Motif, and others to be announced. So that's coming very soon. They're going to visit randomly their store accounts and give grades. It's called an LCS scorecards, and grades are going to be on store layout, cleanliness, how their products are displayed. So each of these stores will get a score, and how much product you get from Topps as the store owners will be reflective on the score. Now, as a former LCS owner, I know it's been a while, but I had my hat in that ring. I don't like that. I don't like that. I understand they should care about what stores they are going to, they're selling to. I don't like the scorecard thing. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well. It seems sort of Gestapo-ish to me. If you don't know what that means, look it up. I don't want to spend time doing that. But not a fan of that, right? You apply for an account, ask for that information then, ask for pictures then. If you're getting complaints about a store, then maybe you can go visit them. But again, it's free country, right? So they can visit anyone they want. I just don't like the score and you getting product based on a score. I just don't like it. They're making one-of-one, piggybacking off the Major League debut patches. They are making a one-of-one bat knob and these bat knobs are going to be a picture of the player whose bat it is. And these bats are going to be specifically made to be used on these one-of-one bat knob cards. And I've heard people who hate it, who say it's cheesy, it's sort of almost manufactured intentionally. Aesthetically, I really, really like these cards. They showed some pictures. I do dig them. Wouldn't mind pulling one, even though I don't open a lot of Modern anymore. But I like it, but I can see it's sort of an on-purpose game-use card. And, we complain about Panini and them having a player put on like 12 jerseys at once and then pull them off. It has a little bit of that feel to it, to be honest with you. So I get that. I can see that. And they've also announced, Fanatics, not at the event itself, that they've partnered with Perfect Game, and they're going to be producing cards of young athletes and baseball players. So Perfect Game, they've produced cards before of high-ranking high school baseball players, many who unfortunately don't pan out on the major league level. But Fanatics is going to partner with Perfect Game to do those cards and produce those cards and autos, and I believe game use, which I don't know if Perfect Game had done game use cards prior to this, so that might be new there. Let's talk about Panini. Their WNBA product has kicked off with many first WNBA cards of some big names, right? Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and a lot of attention on the WNBA this year with some of the star power coming in the league. Some of the star power they already have in the league, and so get your Panini WNBA cards. And following the rookie rule, right? These will be the rookies of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese in this year's class. SGC had their biggest month ever in their history in April. 164,000 cards with 138,000 being sports. So piggybacking, kind of coming off the news of the collector's acquisition of them, maybe more confidence being bestowed. They have my confidence already, but I think this will go further into cementing their brand. And to kind of close the segment, unfortunately, a passing that kind of strikes close to home for me and my dad, and is Carl Erskine, Ersk as he's affectionately known, former Brooklyn Dodgers pitcher, passed away. I think he was in his 90s. He was still going, and one of the last sort of links to the living links to the Brooklyn Dodgers is passed away. So condolences to the Erskine family, and rest in peace to Carl.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, let's talk about Baltimore. Once again, I want to thank Danny Black, Laura Black, the kids. Had a great time. So, kind of to set the tone here, I have a week off from school in April for, it's called spring break. Every school does it. Different parts of the country do it in different weeks usually. And so I saw that week, coming up, and I'm like, it's come up before about coming to Baltimore, and I had Mike Gibbons on from the Babe Ruth baseball birthplace and museum, and he said, man, it'd be great if you come down and check out the museum, and never been to Camden Yards. So kind of really thought about the week off. Knew I couldn't, do a whole week away from home, but thought maybe 3 or 4 days. Kind of checked the Orioles schedule, because definitely got to check out an Orioles game. So saw they were the second part of the week. The A's were in town, and kind of mentioned to Danny, hey, I'm thinking about, I got to ask you first, but I'm thinking about coming to Baltimore. And he, checked with his family, and he's like, let's go, let's do it. So we planned Thursday, come in Thursday afternoon, leave Sunday morning. So it's only a 5-hour and 15-20 minute drive from where I am in Syracuse, so not too bad. So made sure that week was basically me kind of just crossing T's and dotting I's and getting everything kind of done so I can make the trip. I'm doing 3 college courses, so made sure most of my homework and coursework was done. I actually had to do a little bit more Saturday morning at Danny's house, but nothing too bad. And so I got that all kind of squared away. Left Thursday morning, packed 2 bags, two backpacks. One backpack and another with clothes for the few days. And got there Thursday, went to lunch, had Old Bay chicken wings. And I can tell you right now, I'm hooked. I'm going to be making them here at home. Got some Old Bay seasoning, and I've had Old Bay before. I don't want to make it like it's the first time, but not Old Bay wings. And those were absolutely delicious. And then Laura, that was Thursday, Laura made them on Friday night, homemade ones, and those were really, really delicious. And so I'll be making those here in Syracuse, taking a crack at it and see my spin on it. But so we went to lunch. Like I said, had some Old Bay wings and loaded tots, and picked up his boys from school and made our way to Aberdeen, where the Single A Aberdeen Ironbirds play. So we got to see a single A game, not an exciting game, pretty low scoring, not much hitting, a lot of strikeouts. So if that's your sort of thing, it was right up your alley. We left about the sixth or seventh inning with the score 0-0 and like 3 hits total. Wound up the visiting team 1-0. That was the Jersey Shore, the Phillies minor league team, and they have Justin Crawford, Carl Crawford's son, who's lighting it up there. Didn't have a great game this day, but having a great year. So remember that name, Justin Crawford, for future reference. So enjoyed the game. Came back to Danny's house, got kind of settled in, and watched a little TV. And next day was Friday. We went to the city. I went up into the World Trade Tower of Baltimore and got a real panoramic skyline view of the city, which was great. And did that, and unfortunately saw the bridge collapse, saw the Camden Yards from there, and saw part of Raven Stadium, M&T, but it was kind of blocked by two skyscrapers. But one thing about Baltimore that I was impressed with is it's very easy to get it in and out, even with traffic. They don't gouge you for parking like some of the other big cities do. The tunnels and bridges don't gouge you for fees and costs there, which was pretty cool. So we kind of did that. We went to the Paper Moon Diner for lunch on Friday, and that is a eclectic diner with toys all over the place, mannequins, baby heads. Kind of a different place, but very cool. I was telling Danny, my dad would absolutely love this place. He loves this kind of stuff. Great food. Had some breakfast food, and but very good. They give you big portions. And then we picked up his boys, and then his one son, Zach, had a hitting lesson and fielding lesson with former Major League player Mike Bordick. And so got to watch that. It was an hour lesson. Got to speak with Mike a little bit. Very, very nice guy. Very thorough with his training session. And that was fun. And then we called it a day and got some pizza. And actually, we didn't get pizza that night. We had the homemade wings that Laura Black made, which were delicious, to say the least. Again, Old Bay. Old Bay, for those that don't know, is a seasoning with multiple ingredients. It has a seafood flavor, and it was invented in Baltimore. That's where it all started. So Baltimoreans love Old Bay, but lots of other people love Old Bay, myself included. So that was Friday. Saturday, we had tickets to the stadium, Camden Yards, for the A's-O's game, and we headed there early. Took the not the monorail, but it's a train that you park and ride that takes you pretty much right to the stadium. We got there early, kind of did a little tour outside the front part, and then went in, found our seats, and second tier, but very close, great seats, and game started, and was very cool. And to see that warehouse and be on the other side of it, which was cool. TV only tells part of the story. Seeing it up close and personal really, really hit home about how beautiful that ballpark is, and it really is. It reminded me a little bit, truth be told, of Citi Field in Queens. It had a little bit of that feel to it. And about the third inning, Danny's like, "Hey, let's walk around. I'll give you a tour of the park. You will still be able to see the game from all the views and the TVs." And so we did that. We went in front of the warehouse, which is, that warehouse you see in right field is a very long building, but it has some restaurants, some apparel stores, lids. They have a Major League Baseball game use store, which has balls and bats and uniforms and lineup cards from Baltimore. It's game use. I didn't think the prices were terrible. Some things were pricey, other things weren't too bad. They got a Boog's barbecue, smelled great. Just wasn't hungry at that time, or I might have embellished in that, but didn't. And earlier before we went to the game, I'm backtracking. Sorry, things are coming back fresh. We went to Papa's restaurant, which is famous for their crab cakes, and had a real crab cake, folks. And when I say a real crab cake, this was like 90% crab and then 10% of the filler. When you get a crab cake in a lot of other places, you don't get that sort of ratio. And this was, I'm not making this up, this was the greatest crab cake I have ever eaten. And I'm sure, unless I get another one in Baltimore, they're all going to fall short at this point. So that's what we did for lunch before the game. So I wasn't hungry, so I didn't get any boogs, although it smelled absolutely delicious. So we walked around the park. We got into the left field, and Ryan Mountcastle was up. I like Ryan Mountcastle, so I kind of slowed the walk, and sure enough, he blasts one to left field, which is where we are now, and it's a home run. So I was kind of walking, and I kind of walked back to see where this ball was going to wind up. It was about 6-7 rows in front of where I was standing, and then the next batter was Adley Rushman. Adley Rushman, I'm a fan of him as well, and he's on my fantasy baseball team. So we stood there in that walking out to watch the Adley Rushman at bat, and sure enough, a pitch or two later, boom, he blasts one to left field. This one was a shot, and only a few rows in front of where I'm standing, and Danny. And later in the game, we were back in our regular seats, and Danny was looking at highlights on the Major League Baseball app, and he's like, "Hey, we made the highlights." And sure enough, I had my Baby Blue Sports Card Nation podcast hoodie on, so it kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. And sure enough, looking at the highlights, we appeared on both of those home runs back to back. We were on the video. When we got home later and watched, or the next day we watched SportsCenter in the morning, you could see us again. So kind of cool. We made, highlights, if you will, not on purpose, but just worked out that way. I went to also earlier, we went to Bel Air Sports Cards, very nice place. Felt like sort of like an Apple store sort of feel. We opened some packs. I pulled an Alec Marsh, the Royals pitcher, auto out of my one pack, and gave it to Danny's boys. My way to say thank you, and thought they'd appreciate more. Alex Marsh, actually not a bad pitcher. He did happen to go on the DL the very next day, so maybe I was bad luck there. I'll take the blame for that. So I had a blast at the game. Made our way back. These new rules with baseball. This is the first game I went to live with the new time rules, and the game went pretty quick. We were back at Danny's house about 7 something with a 4 o'clock game, and that's with travel and stuff. And we didn't really leave early. We left kind of with a couple outs left, but we could still hear everything that was going on. Bought some pizza for the fam. I asked them where's their go-to pizza joint. It was a place called Vito's, and got 3 pies. Brought that back to the house. Ate dinner and chillaxed, and kind of got ready to. Sunday was the next day, and was going to head back and get ready to, my week off was over, and get ready to head back to work. So stayed up a little bit, and then called it a night. Got up on Sunday, and got ready to head back. But and the other thing we did Friday night, I'm going out of chronological order here, but that's what happens when you get old. Friday night was card mentions. We usually do that, me from here in Syracuse, and Danny at his house in Baltimore, but we were there, so we did a very special Mensch's episode, both at Danny's house, which was pretty cool to do. The first time we've ever done Mensch's live together. We didn't really even have a topic. We just kind of talked about whatever, talked about the trip thus far and what we were planning to do, and then, as a lot of times happens with Mensch's, right, the chat room, which is the best in the business, I always say, we just had a lot of fun talking about whatever. And so great episode there. That you can check that out. That came out this past Monday last week, so it's only a week old if you haven't listened to it yet. And so we did that on Friday night. But Sunday morning, got up, took a shower. Laura made some breakfast, bacon and eggs and potatoes, and got some food in me, and wanted to get kind of an early start. Left about 12 o'clock. Got home about a little before 6, and unpacked, did some stuff, and hung out with my family and got ready to go back to work this week, which I did. But again, great trip. Did something every day. Very, a little tired from everything, but have caught up now on sleep. And we talked about doing this, kind of making this an annual trip to Baltimore during baseball season, catching a minor league game, major league game, hanging out, eating some Old Bay and some seafood, and so maybe this will be an annual tradition going forward. But had a blast. Wanted to share the fun with all of you. Hopefully, I made it halfway interesting, but hope everyone's doing well. And so that was my Baltimore trip. And again, thanks to the Black family for their hospitality and accommodating me. And had a blast, and was a fun 4 days. So that's going to wrap up this episode. We're going to come back with some closing thoughts and wrap up the show. All right, thank you for listening to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Want to give out our social media, starting with our website, which is www.sportscardnationpodcast.com. Facebook, you can follow us at www.facebook.com/SportsCardNationPodcast/. Twitter, we are at SportsCardNati1, so it's SportsCard NATI1. Instagram at SportsCardNationPodcast, or you can email the show hobbyquickhits@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.